If you walk through a local Ugandan market, past the fresh fruit and the electronics, you will eventually reach the mivumba, the second-hand clothes stalls. And there, right in the middle of a hot, sunny afternoon, you might see a vendor holding up a massive, heavily padded snow coat. You have to wonder, who actually needs a coat this thick? To find the people who originally bought these jackets, we have to look far away from the equator, toward the vast continent of North America. To understand why North America is so cold, we have to look at how sunlight hits the curve of our planet. The Earth is a sphere, which means the sun's rays do not hit every country in the same way. Look at the equator, right where East Africa sits. The sunlight hits Uganda directly. It is concentrated and intense. But as we travel further north along the curve of the Earth, the sunlight strikes at a sharp angle. By the time it reaches North America, the light spreads out over a much wider area, making it significantly weaker. Instead of the constant tropical heat we know, North America cycles through 4 very different seasons: vibrant spring blossoms, then hot summers, colorful falling leaves, and those icy winters. Geographers describe this cycle of changing temperatures as a temperate climate. That heavy coat in the market is a direct physical result of living at a high northern latitude. The physical position of the continent on the globe dictates the weather, and that weather dictates exactly what people wear to survive. We know Africa is the second largest continent on Earth. North America is the third. This map shows the footprint of North America placed right on top of Africa. It is a massive landmass containing the countries of Canada, the United States, Mexico, and the island nations of the Caribbean. In East Africa, we are used to localized, isolated mountain peaks. This photograph shows the jagged snow peaks of our own Rwenzori Mountains, which rise steeply out of the surrounding terrain. By contrast, this photograph shows the western edge of North America. These are the Rocky Mountains. Instead of an isolated peak, the Rockies form a continuous, high and rugged wall of gray stone and ice that runs for thousands of miles down the length of the continent. If you travel all the way to the eastern side of North America, the landscape changes again. This photograph shows the Appalachian Mountains. They are much older than the Rockies, meaning millions of years of weather have worn them down into lower, rolling hills covered in dense green forests. With the towering Rocky Mountains on the west and the forested Appalachian Mountains on the east, the entire continent is shaped like a massive bowl, with high protective walls on the edges and a wide open space in the middle. Here in Uganda, much of our food comes from smallholder farms, plots of land carefully carved into hillsides and valleys to grow a wide variety of crops. But inside that massive North American bowl, the land flattens out into the Great Plains, also known as the prairies. This aerial photograph shows the true scale of those Great Plains. Because the land is perfectly flat for thousands of miles, farmers can use huge machines to manage massive, circular crop fields that stretch as far as the eye can see. To water all those crops, North America relies on a massive river system. This map compares our River Nile with their Mississippi-Missouri River. But instead of flowing north like the Nile, the Mississippi system acts like a giant funnel, collecting water from across those central flatlands and carrying it thousands of miles south into the Gulf of Mexico. Up near the border between the USA and Canada, that river system is joined by the Great Lakes. Together, these 5 interconnected bodies of water form the largest group of freshwater lakes anywhere on Earth. To give you a sense of their size, we can drop the outline of our own Lake Victoria right inside the Great Lakes. Even though Lake Victoria is massive to us, it easily fits inside the sprawling North American lake system. Thousands of miles of flat land combined with an enormous, interconnected water system meant that farmers and traders could move goods quickly and easily from the center of the continent to the ocean. For thousands of years, this diverse landscape was inhabited exclusively by indigenous Native American populations. As we see in this historical portrait, they had adapted their lives, their clothing, and their cultures to thrive in everything from the deep forests to the flat plains. But starting in the 1500s, huge waves of European migrants crossed the Atlantic Ocean. This historical photograph shows early crowds arriving with their luggage, landing first along the East Coast, near the Appalachian Mountains. To move goods across those thousands of miles of plains and over the mountain walls, these arrivals began building massive networks of railways. To heat homes through the long, freezing winters and power their new machines, they turned to the continent's deep reserves of coal and iron. This combination of vast resources and the need to bridge enormous distances sparked a period of rapid industrial growth. This photograph of New York City shows the result, a landscape of steel skyscrapers that turned the United States and Canada into global economic hubs. Which brings us right back to that heavy winter coat hanging in the Ugandan market. It traveled thousands of miles across the ocean, originating in a world built on massive scale and cold temperatures. By looking closely at the Rocky Mountains, the massive plains, and the angle of the sun, we can see how the physical landscape shapes the history of a nation and creates the trait that connects a distant continent directly to our own lives.